All right, so we're going to do a little bit of demand talk. I also wanted to show you guys the thing for the cars for step 3 of the independent living project. So I'm going to share that with you and kind of go over it. Just give me a second. Okay. So on the, you see the classroom? Are you seeing that?
Yes.
Okay. So if you go under the classwork and independent living, the reason why I wanted to talk about this with you is because I wanted you guys to be able to see how to like do the car shopping, just in case you had some questions or if you have to go back and clarify it. So to calculate your cost of your car, you can do the CarMax Car Finder. And this is what it's going to look like. So there's no way with your salary that you guys are making in the artificial independent living project, you can afford a $25,000 car. I would say maybe a $10,000 car. And then your down payment should be 0 because you're poor and you have no money. And you're going to be in California. Your credit rating is not going to be good because you guys are just building it. You're going to put down fair. And then you're going to have a higher interest rate, and you can either leave it 72 months or you can bump it to 60. But each time you mess with it, you'll see how it changes over here. Okay, so if I go back to 72 months, it'll lower my monthly payment. Okay. It also shows you up here the established tax, title, and fees. So you're going to include this as part of your price. And then you can click on CarMax as one of the places, and you can shop for cars in your budget. You can actually get some pretty decent cars. You can get this cute little sporty Fiat, you know, or the Saturn. The thing with Saturns, though, is that because they're no longer manufactured, I would sort of stay away from them just so you don't have any issues for that part. And then when it comes to filling it in, that's what you're going to put down here where it asks you the tax, title, and fees. Remember, that was right here. Okay. And it bumped me back up to the 25. So you want to make sure you do this before you start shopping cars. Are there any questions on this? Does this part make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. So I wanted to cover that because I know that last semester kids forgot how to find this part, the title and fees, and they didn't put down fair here, they put down good, but you guys are building your credit, so you're not going to have good credit yet, unless you're super awesome. But I guess you guys are, so it's all good. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. And I wanted to talk about demand with you as well. So for demand, how would you explain demand?
It's what people want.
Okay, it's beyond just what they want. What do you want
Yes.
people to do? What do you have to be able to do?
Supply it.
Well, that's a different side. So let's just say I really want a Nintendo Switch, right?
That's our shortage right now.
Yeah, well, okay, it is. I have a picture of that at Target. It's really funny. I'll post it later. But I want a Nintendo Switch. What do I have to have in order to be able to get that Nintendo Switch?
Money.
The money.
Okay, right. So I need to have a willingness. I want it. I need to have money. But what if I can't get to a store? Or what if I don't have a credit card? Then what?
Need a loan.
No, not a loan. I have the money. I just don't have a way to use my money.
Oh, then too bad.
Yeah, see, it's really, so it's what it is. Demand is the need to have a willingness. You have to have your money and you have to have the ability to buy it. Does that make sense? For demand?
Yes.
Right, it's beyond just having that desire to have it, okay? You have to have the ability and the desire and the means to buy what you want or to gain what you want. Maybe you trade or barter. Some of my friends bought some fresh fruit at Costco for me and I made them chocolate chip cookies in return. You know, it's a barter system. You gotta do what you gotta do. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen really fast for you. And I'm going to show you how I posted that assignment on here under the demand unit. So as we're going through, you guys can fill this out if you want, okay? So we've already answered number 1. How would you explain demand to your younger sibling? Okay. So you can fill that out for yourselves. And then we're going to talk about change in quantity demanded. So the important thing here is I want you guys to pay attention to this. The key word is quantity. This means that it's based on price. And the demand moves along the line. You guys sometimes get this confused with change in demand. So that's why I kind of want to go over this. And now I'm going to use my nifty whiteboard function, but don't laugh at my terrible writing on it. It's really awkward. But I try.
She left already.
Oh, I tell you. I don't know. I look like I can't write.
If you laugh at it, you have to write like her for the rest of the week.
Oh, my son's defending me. He's so cute. He's here doing his schoolwork. Okay. So change in quantity demanded. You always have to label your graph. Price. Look how awkward I am. Price is always on the y-axis, and the quantity will always be on the x-axis. Please don't make me spell it all out. It's just awkward. I think we'll call it good there. Okay, and I'm going to give you an example for it. Since we're talking about the Nintendo Switch, right? How much does a Nintendo Switch normally cost?
300.
All right, 300. So that's 300. And then let's just say the stores put it on sale for 250, okay?
That's GameStop.
That's not true, but
Yeah. All right, at $300, let's just say 10 people demand it, okay? So I'm gonna put my circle here. And I'm gonna call this D1 or just D. Now, at 250, is it gonna have more demand or less demand? What do you think? More or less?
more,
Why?
because more people will have the money.
Yeah, because it's $50 cheaper, right? So it's going to become D1. And then I'm going to connect my 2 dots with a line, okay? And we're going to say that it goes from 10 to 50 people who want that. It's moving along the line. The demand is increasing because we see more people want it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. You guys are so kind for not laughing at my writing. So this is when it is the change in quantity. There's an actual increase in just the number of people who want that object, okay? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does everybody have that drawing? My terrible, awkward drawing. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing that for a second. Okay, now we're gonna talk about the actual change also. So now there is change in demand. Change in demand is external variables that affect demand. And these are things like your income. What happens if you get a really good high paying job? What will happen? If you're suddenly making bank, what will happen?
You'll have more money.
Yeah, you'll have more money. What will you do with that more money?
Maybe spend it.
Yeah. So if you're a poor college student, you live off of top ramen. But once you become a really wealthy, college grad, and you have your first really big paying job, you can move off of top ramen and go to straight like actual restaurant quality ramen. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you can afford a higher class, so to speak, of food or whatever. But now what happens if you lose your really high paying job? What are you going to go back to?
Tasty ramen.
That's right. And so income is one thing that affects what you can demand. You may really want it, but if you don't have the ability, you can't do it. Another one is substitutes. And substitutes are exactly that. You can do top ramen, but when you start having like the choice of like a higher quality, you can switch to that. Other things that you can substitute, if you want Coca-Cola, but you go to the store and you're poor, you could afford the knockoff generic brand, like Sam's Club or whatever they have. Also, if you really want Coke, however, the store is out of Coca-Cola, you might substitute Pepsi for it. Okay, so you can trade one item for another that sort of fulfills the same kind of thing. Another one is complements. And complements are goods that go together. You need to have one, or people buy one and have the other. We gave you the example of printers and printer cartridges. Okay, so what happens if you buy a brand new flat screen TV? What do you usually need to have to go with that flat screen TV?
Usually, like, well, depends. Like cable, maybe not anymore, but like other streaming services and.
Okay, right. So you might want to have a streaming service that goes with it, especially if we're in quarantine. Okay. Now, what else? What if you want to mount it on the wall? What do you need to have?
A wall mount.
Yeah, so you have to buy that separately. So you might be willing to pay full price for the wall mount because you got a really good deal on your fabulous flat screen TV.
I just glue it to the wall.
You can glue it to the wall.
Yeah, the flex glue.
You're like, here's my Gorilla Glue. Let me just fix my.
Yeah. Flex glue could support up to 50 pounds.
What if you use a lot of glue?
Why don't you just put some epoxy and just shellac that bad boy to the wall? And then what happens if you move in 6 months and you can't get your TV off the wall?
Buy a new TV. Take the wall with you.
Yeah, exactly. Cut the wall out.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay. Now, what happens if you have your house is robbed? Everything will be taken but your TV. Think of it that way, right?
Well, at least you have the TV.
That's exactly what I'm saying. You'd have everybody. All right. So another one is expectations. So having expectations is something else that's important. So expectations are things like we currently are seeing right now. When people found out that everybody was going and being crazy and buying toilet paper, what did everybody else start to do?
Buy toilet paper.
Right. So people started having this crazy mentality for not having enough toilet paper. So now what we still find is that we still have a really hard time getting toilet paper in the stores even today. Because people have expectations that there's going to be a run on it, so they keep hoarding. Okay. We're also finding out that because people are home more now, they're cooking and baking more. So now it's even hard to find cooking ingredients and baking ingredients. So those things are also based on expectations. And then the last one are the weather and the seasons. Okay, so with weather and seasons, we start to kind of have that expectation of if it's starting to get warmer out, what kind of clothes do we want to go buy?
Cold clothes. Nope, that's not what it is. What do you call
short sleeves and
summer clothes? Oh yeah, I guess so.
Right, thanks, Julie. Summer clothes, right? We would love to like go out there and have beautiful shorts and tank tops and flip-flops and sandals. I know I broke mine out because it's going to be like hot this week. So all of those things, people start wanting to go buy. Now, what happens if we hear there's going to be a sudden freak snowstorm? Now, Nathan, what are people going to go buy?
Cold clothes.
Yes, cold clothes, suddenly. So seasons also do affect what and how people want to shop and buy. With me, I also like it when they go on sale at the end of the season because then I stock
Yeah.
for the next year. Or since my son keeps growing like a little weed, I keep buying ahead for him.
No, Mom. What you need to do is you need to get the weed whacker or the weed killer.
Great, great, fantastic. Okay, I'm going to show you what this does. This actually shifts the entire line. And I'll show you that in a minute. I'm going to post it. So this is going to shift the entire line. So we're going to go back to sharing the screen, and I'm going to do my lovely whiteboard drawing for you again. So what do I have to label on my graph again? What's over here?
Price.
Good. And what's on the bottom?
Quantity.
There we go. Beautiful. I'm going to whittle words from my ability. Okay, so here's my original demand line. And what do we want to, what's our demand going to be right now?
A lot.
A lock?
A lot.
A lot. But what are we going to demand? A lot of what?
Toilet paper.
All right, you want to do TP? So TP is going to be our object. So right now, what are we seeing happening to toilet paper?
It's gone.
It's gone because there's a high demand for it. So it shifts the line to the right because it's increased in the quantity that's been demanded. Because here's the original one. And let's just say 10,000 people normally buy toilet paper. And then the crazy hoarding started, and now we're up to 1 million. Does that make sense? 1 million people want it now, okay? So please make sure that you do D and D1 to show that this is your new one. Now, let's say when you get back to normal and suddenly people don't need to have toilet paper as much as they did before, what will happen to the demand for toilet paper?
Decrease.
Right, it's going to decrease. So we're going to see that shifting. Uh-oh.
Oh, darn.
Oh, ah! Oh dear, I lost everything. Hold on.
So will that line stay parallel then to the other ones?
It will, but I just erased it so it wasn't confusing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Because if you want it to look like it did, I can do that really quickly. So here's the original one. And then we see the decrease. It would become D2 if you want to do it that way. Okay.
Yeah.
So we see a decrease in demand. So instead of it being the 10,000, now we have only 5,000 because there's so many crazy hoarders that have like garages and attics full of TP. They don't know what to do with it. So these are change in demand, not like the price. Because remember, price is along the line. This is an actual shift in the whole thing. Okay? Does that part make sense?
Yes.
All right. Now, Sierra asked about how to do the drawing the lines on the graph. I can't find a good way to do that. Google Docs is limited. So if you want to take Post-it notes and just label them the numbers of the questions. So if you want to label like number 2 graph and then your example graph and then take a picture and send that to me, that's fine. Or you can post that in the assignment, okay? Does that make sense? On how to show me the graphs. And then if I figure out a better way to do it, I'll let you know. And then are there any questions on these for me? Was it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I was really distracted. I hear like a subtle breathing in the back. There's someone like subtly breathing. I was like trying to think who it is. And I was like, I can't really identify that. But yes.
Okay, so it makes sense for Nathan. Sierra, does it make sense for you? Sierra still there? Jamie, does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Julie, makes sense? Jazzy, does it make sense?
Yeah.
And Michelle, does it make sense?
Yep.
And Ellen, does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's something else, but I don't remember what I was going to say. I think that's it. Do you guys have any other questions for me?
How are you, Mrs. Fork?
I'm doing well. I'm going to stop the recording because people don't care about that.